Hello, Raven fans, Oriole fans. Thank you for joining us here for our live version of Driving to the Top Productions and Ravenry Sports Podcast here tonight. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. Our look is going to be changing here. We're going to have some new intro music. We're going to have a new logo. That logo is going to be in there in the corner. We're going to have some more content, college and pro football reactions. So we're going to have all that fun stuff for you. Definitely check it out, our content. Maryland football preview, NFL football preview, Genesis Notary Services, our busiest week ever in the history of Genesis Notary Services. All right. Thank all of you, Winchester. I'm serious. We appreciate you and all that. And our growth has been tremendous here as well. And you talk about the growth of Ravery Sports. Here's the guy, one of them, the most responsible for it. Our fearless leader at Driving to the Top, Adam, who wanted to go live.
I like live. I like live. I know that, man. What? I know you're a record guy, but I am a live guy. I like being live. It keeps it a little more entertaining. Obviously, things can't be edited. And you did. Yeah. I said it live right there. Boom, bam. But anyway, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I am doing wonderful here. So
I'm not allowed to steal your show, Rob. I could very easily turn this into an interview on you.
You know mine. You're not doing nothing. I'm just trying to stay focused here, getting everything going. I got you. Yeah. I'm working here. So, we got a football season here coming up here, man. So we've been better choose wisely than your son's wife. That's so cool too that you get to do this with your son. I'm serious. I think this is cool that you get to. I have all girls, so I don't know what that is. So
get them into sports. Get them on the network, buddy. Get them in.
They have no interest in sports. They mugging the camera is all you're going to get from them. All right, so let's start.
Maybe you could let them. Maybe you could let them flaunt your merch.
Let's like I said, I'm asking you about the Steelers. Let's talk business, man. I think the Steelers are actually, some of the moves they've made have been good. Okay, so they have picked up DK Metcalf. I know you don't like Aaron much, but I think that's an upgrade. I think you have defensively, you re-signed Watt. They've done some good things. Have they closed the gap in the division, do you think?
I think their defense has. Even getting rid of Minka, which, disappoints me a lot because, I was a fan of Minka. But, now we have Darius Slay. We got Ramsey. We got Porter. We got Porter's other brother on the other. I don't know if he's going to even make the team, but they did sign the other Porter. Obviously, this team definitely improved on defense, and we both know defenses eventually can go stale, and can the offense stay, I guess, alive enough to keep it going right? But we got Caleb Johnson, obviously, and Jalen Warren's gonna be like thunder and lightning this time. And it should be entertaining, actually. Maybe the hits will come back. Maybe we'll actually get the early 2000 rivalry between the Ravens and Steelers, which was probably one of the best rivalries in football. that I grew up watching.
Without the question, I think it's the best rivalry in the history of the NFL. Ravens and Steelers, maybe Dallas and Washington in the 80s, but this one's better. I mean, just the two teams were so similar. You know, you just hate. I mean, I to this day can't stand Hines Ward. I can't stand the sight. I mean, when he was doing that Sunday night,
even though he's not playing anymore, like you don't look back and go, he was good.
Okay. Like some, like I have respect for, like Jerome Bettis. Wasn't a Steelers fan. Lots of respect for Jerome Bettis. Lots of respect for James Harrison. Lots of respect for Palomalu. But Ward, I got no use for him.
No the big hits you didn't like or what?
Ward was a cheater. Ward, all he did was take cheap shots.
They named a penalty for him.
Yeah. But yeah, go get him. It's cheap shots. That's what he did. He pushed off at the line of scrimmage and knocked guys down to get open because he wasn't that fast. But he got away with it for so long, like nobody ever called it.
That's because no one saw it.
Yeah, I saw it. I was watching the games. I've been watching for 30 years. I saw it. So no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You used the word stale. Mike Tomlin. I know who you're talking about. So you've been hard on the coach, right? I've been telling you how
we haven't won a playoff game in 9 years. How easy am I supposed to be?
Well, because of all the success he's had. Since
regular season doesn't win you trophies.
He has a Super Bowl. Been a while.
Okay, but like I said, the last 9 years we have nothing. One and done. Mike Tomlin's record in the playoffs is now what, 8-11, 8-10?
He hasn't won a Super Bowl in quite a while. He hasn't had any playoff success in a while. I think it's 2016 since the Steelers actually won a playoff game. Been a minute.
Right. And he's 8-10.
How do you think it goes this year?
How do I think it? I haven't really, since we've been doing we're doing the things on the AFC and we're doing the divisions down on the, oh my gosh, open mic on Tuesdays. I've been breaking it down. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I broke down I did the whole schedule for what I thought was going to happen. So I'm going to these will be my season rankings whenever I'm done, and I haven't gotten that far yet. So when we get to that Steelers schedule, I'll be fully on it. But right now, I have us losing to the Jets in week 1 on a fluke.
Why do you say that? The Jets, I think, are just awful. I don't think like this. I mean, you mentioned Fields. You like the Jets
going 10-7.
Why?
I just feel it. I just feel it. Like Ken was saying, you have a defensive coordinator that monitored him for all those years, and then they went out and got him because they saw something in him that said, hey, this guy's actually pretty good. Maybe we should go get him. And they did. And he's young enough still to relearn a new system where, he only played 6 games last year. But
I agree with Kenny. I don't think it's that bad, but they're last place. Told you this Wednesday, if we lose to the Jets, we're doomed before 500. I know a lot of Steelers fans like Justin Fields, though. He was the popular choice last year instead of Russell, correct? I mean, that was the guy that the Steelers wanted.
I was a lot bigger fan of Russell Wilson than I was. I mean, Justin Fields than I was Russell Wilson for sure. But we knew that was Tomlin's guy. Like we knew that Russell Wilson was Tomlin's guy.
They're a lot alike as men, Tomlin and Russell. I mean, outside of football, they're both kind of the same guys, married for a long time, religious guys, football junkies, but real straight, it's kind of saying guy with Justin's kind of a different guy in general. But I think Russell is that we didn't have a player.
We didn't have a Tyrod. Is he talking about the Jets? What are we talking about here?
Jets are starting Tyrod. Could start Tyrod if Fields is injured there. I think he's backing up in New York.
Okay. I was just confused. I thought we were, keeping up with our conversation. I was just wondering what that conversation was. But yeah. So I feel that this could be a good thing for Justin, a new start. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is playing against the Jets, and I just feel that we're going to lose week 1 on a fluke. That's what I feel. I wrote that down. I have that written down on my paper. So, but anyway,
I do believe they have closed the gap with Cincinnati a little bit. Cincinnati is having some offensively. They were pretty good last year. Defensively, I don't like Cincinnati's back seven at all. Cleveland, I think, is a complete mess. We all on the open mic, we all said it. There's 4 quarterbacks, and we all picked a different guy to win the starting job.
There's 6 quarterbacks now with 2 injured.
I mean, I'm not even counting. Deshaun, who's there, who's not even going to play at all, and whatever, and whoever.
Kenny Pickett has a quad.
Shador may not play. So, is second place or first place possible for the Steelers?
I mean, anything's possible for sure. But I mean, I thought Joe Burrow, if they had a winning record, should have been closer to MVP voting. Led the league in passing, had a good record. Just his team was horrible, but he was the most valuable player on that team.
You think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the league? I've heard you say that more than once. You like him better than Lamar.
I said off stats last year. He did lead the league in throwing.
Well, what do you think? You think is he the number one guy of all the quarterbacks in the NFL? You'd rather have Joe Burrow?
No, because they don't win, and that's what makes them not in that voting. Unfortunately,
not voting. But what do you think? If you were taking quarterbacks, who would you take first?
Who would I take first? Oh, man. I mean, it's hard for me to say to take Lamar or Joe because they're in the division I'm in. But, they are 2 of the top quarterbacks, obviously. Few of the top quarterbacks in the league. Who would I take as my quarterback overall? I mean, obviously, I've said on open mic, Dan Marino, but we're not in that league. We're not in that all-time vote. Who would I take in? Oh, man, Gerard, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, you'd want a quarterback that's taken your team to the Super Bowl a couple times. So, I mean, obviously, Patty Mahomes comes into that conversation. If you want your team to go deep, I know everyone would probably throw a flag on that one, but maybe Josh Allen, maybe that Josh Allen guy up there in Buffalo I would pick as a pretty good quarterback. I do have him on a couple fantasy teams. So, yeah, I would go Josh Allen.
Kenny gave the answer I was going to, and even being a Raven fan, but Mahomes, the resume for me, even though I think he slipped a little bit, he's the number one guy. I think he's still QB1 until somebody actually knocks him out in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, God. Not Dak at all. No.
Dak should have been on the bench a long time ago. One other thing on Pittsburgh here. The AFC, I think, like this, the Steelers' history. How I know how you and Rich feel about the Mike Tomlin thing. How do you think most?
Oh wait, Rich likes Mike Tomlin.
Well, he has Rich has some like for Tomlin, but I think I've heard him be critical. What do you think the most of the fan base thinks of Tomlin? Are they in your camp there where they want him gone?
I think a lot of the fans are in my camp. I would say that honestly. I've never heard him. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I've talked to a lot of people that aren't on radio, aren't on mic, but they want to get rid of Tomlin. They're ready for something new. They're ready just to move on. This relationship's gone stale with him. It's the same thing over and over again. Every press conference. It's pretty boring.
Do you think he survives after this year? This is the most heat I've ever heard on Tomlin at the beginning of a year. I've never heard it like Usually it's like the season starts. Oh, Tomlin's great. Tomlin's great. This year, for the first time, I've heard before they start, hey man, he needs to show us something. So that's how a coach gets fired too. Like, yeah.
Kenny, you can ask Gina if Adam would swap head coaches with your team in any minute. She will tell you yes. Oh, yeah. Love going 1-0 of the playoffs. That's great.
Niners fans would love Tomlin. That's what I keep telling you, man. You keep saying that, but I mean, anybody else would take him in a heartbeat.
Take him. The relationship. I'm telling you, like the relationship's gone stale, man. It's just gone stale. I don't like regular season. Like, you can understand, like, we're coming from the city of champions, not the city of mediocrity. Like, mediocrity is regular season wins. Who cares? Champions win in February.
I hear you. The Ravens, like when I was, go ahead.
We don't have 6 Lombardis for nothing. We don't have 5 Stanley Cups for nothing. And, it's been a long time since we've been raised that thing in baseball, but, we still have 5 of them. So I mean, we've been spoiled. All right. We've been spoiled, I guess, as you could say. But we've had some good football players, obviously, in the Hall of Fame. You see the Steelers had good teams going forward.
The standard is the standard.
Yeah, what's the standard? 500 and done? 1 and done? What's the standard? What is it? For real?
That's like, a Tomlin said. Yeah. I hear you.
What's the standard? I mean, winning in, and that's it? Or I just don't understand. Like, it don't make any sense, Rav. Like, imagine Jim Harbaugh saying the standard is the standard after not winning a playoff game for 9 years.
That's not true of Harbaugh. He just won the national championship in Michigan. So, yeah, he can't. It's
not that Harbaugh, the other one. Your head coach, not the one.
John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh. I said Harbaugh. I didn't really say a first name. I get these two brothers confused.
Because they are alike. But John Harbaugh was in trouble in Baltimore before Lamar showed up. Joe Flacco, I think had he not made the change and Lamar had not played the way he played, he was going to get fired. I really do. I think a lot of people, he was on the hot seat. They were under 500. I mean, when he started, Lamar goes in and the rest is history. And so I think that's the problem. How long
do you give Harbaugh before he doesn't get over that hill?
I think he's going to be back. Harbaugh's going to be around for a while. I think as long as Lamar's there, he's not going anywhere.
Right, but what if Lamar never gets a ring?
And then Harbaugh doesn't get any more rings. He'll retire when Lamar's day is up. That's when he'll retire. I think it's the same with Andy Reid too. He's not going to retire until Mahomes hangs it up. Then you'll hear him saying, "Well, I'm tired now." Blah blah blah. But with these guys in their prime, they're not going to retire. Why would they? Andy Reid, I think, more with his health. He is 60-something years old. He's had some health issues. I think that his health may force him. But other than that, they're not going anywhere. Same with John Harbaugh. He's not going anywhere.
Is Andy Reid a first-time ballot?
Andy Reid, yes. Andy Reid is the greatest coach, I think, offensive of all time. Maybe you could say Bill Walsh ahead of him. That's it. Andy Reid is fantastic. So let's talk about your Pittsburgh Pirates, man. What's going on? Lamar is unstoppable in the NFC. I was so wish he could stay. Certainly, if he would join, but if he stayed in the NFC, he would have won a Super Bowl by now. The Falcons were stupid for signing. No, what he's saying.
Lamar went.
He's saying, the quarterbacks in the NFC aren't nearly as good. So if he'd have been in the NFC away from Mahomes, away from Allen, etc., that he could have won a Super Bowl. He's a better quarterback, I think, than Jalen Hurts. I think. who just won it. What do you think?
I think he's got a better arm. I mean, I don't know. Like that's a they're I always see them as like the same person kind of.
I say once it Hurts is very underrated. Considering everything he's already done, you see Hurts like 10th in the league, 11th. I mean, Hurts is very underrated. I mean, considering everything he's done, I mean, you got to put him in there. I have him in top 5. He was easily the best on his team last year. Fumbles on the post. Maybe he is the problem with a regular stat merchant. Hurts is great in Super Bowls. Nothing wrong with that.
Like I don't know where the meme started, but do you remember always seeing that Lamar was the Ferrari in the regular season, then he was the Fisher Price car in the playoffs?
Yeah, he's the not doing so well.
How truthful is that?
That's why. Well, he's not. This is why he's not QB1 in the NFL. The lack of playbook success. I think in the regular season, he's been better than Mahomes, but he hasn't done anything in the playoffs. He's been better, but you gotta do it in January. Same with Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen, people give him more grace because he's been better against Mahomes head to head.
Well, I mean, that's like Ben Roethlisberger had to go against Brady. Lamar had to go against Brady.
Ben actually got through and actually won one. Like as well.
That was before Brady was 2000.
No, they beat New England once before. They got ahead of New England. I don't know if they actually beat New England the year they actually went, but I think it was during the Brady era.
Came back, we beat Cincinnati on the road, beat Denver to go to the Super Bowl, and we beat the Bengals, we beat Indianapolis, and then we beat the Bengals, Denver, and then we went on to play Indianapolis in the AFC Championship game, I think. And then we went to the Super Bowl.
All right.
Because that was the year that Bettis ran over Urlacher at home.
All right. Pirates. Let's talk about that a little bit. All right. So I have the same reaction about the Baltimore Orioles. Not our season. Not at all. We're the dregs of the league in the sense of that. The Orioles have been better in recent years, but this is kind of where we have been. What are you seeing in Pittsburgh as far as the Pirates? As far as that, you have great pitching. You have the best pitcher, I think, in the National League. I think you have some good pitchers in the minor league system. Mitch Keller, is Bubba Chandler. I think so. Is it any hope going forward? Because the division is.
I have no idea what to think of this team, Rich. Because Bob Nutting came out and said, "Hey, we're not going to spend any cash in the offseason. We're not up in payroll or nothing." He's leaving it like it is. So what kind of future does that say to the team? Like, we're not trying to get better. Like, you're telling Paul Skeens, like, you're all we got. You're our star. and I don't know if I'm not saying Paul Skeens can't live up to it, but he only plays 1 day a week. Sometimes two, if depending on where it falls. But you can't do that to a team. Now, if they raise ticket prices and don't pay out more in payroll, I think the fans are going to be mighty frustrated. And it's not good. Like, he should just sell the damn team to someone that wants to win.
Are the resources there in Pittsburgh otherwise? Pittsburgh is not that different in terms of type of city it is in Baltimore. Kind of like Baltimore's kind of the same. Blue collar city, lots of people that are middle class. There's some, is that doable in Pittsburgh? It's certainly not. What I mean is, it's certainly not Atlanta, New York, Houston, major. It's a big city, but it's not that. Is the resources possible?
They are. I mean, Rav, whenever we go to the playoffs or have winning teams, there's usually not an empty seat in that house. And you get 38 Rockin' Pirate fans in there that because they're winning, not because the other team's here and they're rooting on the other team, like the Cubs have big following, the Brewers have big following, the Yankees, they come here because tickets are cheaper. And it's cheaper to get a hotel room here, just like the Mets series. I went to one of those games, and it was just cheaper for all the fans. They're like, this stadium is awesome. We got to these 3 games of the Mets, even though the Pirates rocked their world that week. But the Mets fans were so excited just to come down here because I ended up sitting right behind home plate in that first section, not the first section where the home plate club is, but behind there. I was up there and I was around all these Mets fans, and it was just absolutely insane, like how much they were saving in ticket prices to come down here. And then they said to get a hotel room was 60, 70, 80 bucks. And they were laughing because they're like, you can't even get this at like a Motel 6 in New York. So
that'll cost you like $300, like $200 in New York, a Motel 6 if you're anywhere like that. You got to go all the way to New Jersey or something, maybe, like in order to get something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, but if we're winning, there's nothing stopping this fan base. Believe me, the town pays attention, even though they know they're awful. You know what I mean? Like you could just say Pirates, and people are going to break into a conversation, but it always turns into, what is Nutting doing? Why isn't he upping the ante to have a better team? Like me and Rich were talking about the other night, the MLB needs a floor. They're never going to have a cap because all these owners can have to do is put a 10-year contract on there, and boom, that can't be really fixed. So that ruins the cap, especially like Ohtani's contract. The huge contracts.
They are going to try very hard for cap, I think, this time around in negotiation.
They need a floor. They need to put a floor on there to make it at least competitive.
I hear you. I mean, we're going through the same thing, but I do think like the Pirates have actually been really good at developing players. That's the real tragedy.
That's why we're the AAA team of the Major League Baseball. Right?
Yeah, like they've done a great job of getting players. You look at some of the Garrett Cole and all these other guys going to other teams, year after year after year. So they have that part of it down, but you can't keep guys, or then you don't keep the right guys
because we don't pay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So, like Paul Skeens, I hope it doesn't go to free agency. I would rather see us get something for him than see him go to free agency, because the Pirates are probably not. They're going to try to re-sign him, but he's going to want to win eventually. You lose that. Like when your owner comes out and says that, how excited can you be?
Skeens is an obvious guy you build around. There's nothing to think about. He's sensational.
Right, but Nutting
he's an obvious guy.
Any money on players next year. I mean, don't get me wrong, the free agency wire is not very good next year, except for like Pete Alonso. And then everyone else. Huh?
That's all the more reason. All the more reason to keep.
But that's going to be way too expensive. For Pete Alonso, yeah, it's going to be expensive.
Well, the season he's having, he's been as good as Juan Soto in New York, so nobody expected that. They really wasn't any interest in him in the offseason, Alonso. That's the only reason he's even still there, right? They got Soto and they expected to move on, but Alonso was slow to sign, so he re-signed in New York, and now he's going to get in excess of at least $250 million, $300 million, right? I mean, there's no question about it.
Right, like the Pirates aren't going to pay that. Your Orioles aren't going to pay that.
No. The Dodgers. I can see that.
I mean, but can one
they get everybody else.
Can one player really bring in a full house?
I think you I think like players, like I think the baseball system as far as salaries is all jacked up on all sides. It's not good for the players either. It's only good for the elite players. The rest of them are getting screwed too. I think like there's a small group that really gets a lot of money, and then the rest of them they don't. Some guys make money.
I think we talked about the Indians the other day. It was like obviously Ramirez. Then I think it was who was it? There was someone else making 13, and then everyone else was 4 million and under.
Quan, it's got to be.
I think it was Quan. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but it was like two players were making 19 and 13, and then 4 million was the next drop. Obviously, Clase was in there at 8, but he did not even count it anymore.
I do think that I think it's also mentality of the owners. Like you said, he's coming out and already said he's not spending money. David Rubenstein, it's got $1 billion. Well, I can only do a 3-year. Like you gotta stop. It's not the Dodgers' fault that they want to win. Right? You can't be mad at them if you're not willing to at least keep your own guys. That's what amazes me. Like, Paul Skeens, this is a no-brain. You should want to do everything you can to keep him. If you have enough pitching, you can still win, especially in your division. There really isn't a team that spends a lot of money, really, except for the Cubs. I mean, the Brewers, the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember offhand, like you are right now, but I don't know their salaries, their salary cap. I don't know where it's at.
I only mean historically. Like, I don't remember the Brewers ever being the team and the spending the most money in the league. The Cardinals at times, the Cubs probably the most, I think.
Right.
Well, yeah, like it's not like where you're in the AL East where you got the Red Sox and the Yankees, or you're in the NL West with the even the Padres have gotten with the program. They're spending money. They're
winning, obviously.
They're winning, yeah, right, and not as much as the Dodgers. But
the Padres are in first place now. And I just saw on Twitter, like before we went live, Jason was like, "All right, time to focus on the Packers. Dodgers are done." I don't know if you saw that or not before we went live.
He's been killing them on Twitter. Jason, Dodger Jason, has been killing them on Twitter.
I love that. That dude's awesome. He said they were done on the open mic too.
But I did say, like, the Padres might have called him at the trade deadline. You're getting O'Hearn, you're getting Liriano, you're getting Mason Miller. The Dodgers really didn't do much. So, and they have a lot of injuries.
They didn't have much to move. They already got rid of everything. And obviously their injury reserve list is bigger than most people's starting lineups.
I hear. So, one more thing. Let's talk about you. Something that you don't like to talk about. Let's talk about.
I hate talking about me, Toby Keith.
Yeah,
once in a while, let's talk about me.
Let's talk about yourself. Driving to the Top Productions. So, how long have you been live streaming?
So I actually got introduced to doing this by kind of accident because my buddy Joffrey, who sometimes comes on, big Jets fan. He was talking with Eric, and this one kid we know canceled, and they called me and said, "Hey, do you want to come over and podcast?" And I was like, "What are we doing?" And he's like, "We're just going to talk sports, and it's going to be on the computer." And I'm like, "Well, that sounds easy." So I did that, and then we started rolling with stuff, and then eventually I just kind of like said, "Hey guys, I'm going to break away because I'm going to do my own thing," because it was getting to be too much with those guys, because all of a sudden I like talking sports. So I would try to go live as much as I could. And eventually, I got to know you. I got to know, there's so many great people I've met. Mark, obviously Jamie, Dylan, Rich, obviously. Rich was the diamond in the rough. That was a great find. And I don't even know how I found Rich, but yeah, I found him, and I'm grateful. We're all grateful we found Rich. And then we had Tom up in Boston, who he wants to come back and talk sports with us on open mic, and that guy can talk sports with us anytime he wants. Excellent. I know he's still doing his call-in show up there in Boston to the guys up there. It's good stuff. If you follow Tom and Quincy Rab on Facebook, you can see his posts sometimes on his phone calls. Really good dude. But Gina and me, we got along in the beginning too. I found Gina, and we started talking sports, and then Gina got offered to go on her own, and she went on her own. And then, you find people, and that's what you do. I started interviewing all kind of people, kind of like what you're doing right now. I mean, I probably have 55, 60 conversations with people just on their teams. I went around and I tried to get all NFL teams done before the season started. If you were part of the network, obviously I would invite you first and then say, hey, we found some more guests. We would do a huge roundtable and talk about like the Ravens. We would go around and it would be like you, Matt, and a couple other Raven fans that I would find. I would search and I would always try to have a fun little roundtable with everyone. And eventually, you got to know these guys and you said, hey, do you want to come back on? Ryan Swift from B-Sync Sports. I know we don't do much with him, but he's a big Eagles guy. He started a new job in Florida, good, really good guy. But, you find people, Rab, and you find these connections and you always try to stay in touch with people. And that's like something I try to do. You can't do it all the time. It's hard enough staying in touch with your crew, let alone people that aren't part of your crew. But, you always reach out and say hi and just how you doing. And, you keep in touch. And that way you can keep the ball rolling and, maybe get on their show and they'll come back on your show.
Yeah. I'm going to read this. How you doing? Good morning. What do you guys do? We do Baltimore Ravens and Orioles content and Terps basketball and football in general NBA. Ravery Sports site and jerseys and hats is our page. Do you podcast? Every week. Sub back, I'll sub to your channel. You in a network? No, I'm not. I'm looking for a Baltimore crew if you want to come in and let me know. Would you take a meeting? Yeah, Saturday at 6 o'clock. Oh, I can't do it at 6. Restaurant life at 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'll let you know when I'm home from work. Now I'm on my way home now. I'll pop out. Yes, sir. And then the rest is history.
Oh, that was our first conversation.
That was our first conversation. Yeah. That was you reaching out to me last November.
Yeah, so that was whenever Matt, I said, Matt, I'm gonna have to find someone to cover your show, because Matt went on with Will Cox and hopefully Rab, Matt will invite you on with Will Cox and let you do a show with them guys.
I haven't met Will Cox. I met the guy who works with baseball. I've talked to him like once or twice before. So he's
you worked you did a show with Tim?
I didn't do a show with him, but I've actually talked to him once before. So yeah, he's actually a good dude. I think like you
Tim Millard, good dude.
When you approached me, though, I was really looking for a network at the time. Your timing was like, because I had been doing this for a couple of years and I was really just trudging along, and I feel like it's time to do what you said, like just go kind of meet people and venture out and do that. And so because of that, though, like all my numbers, I'm no longer in quicksand. I'm certainly not Shannon Sharp or anything like that, but certainly the movement I've had because of you guys' help is really been phenomenal. Your personality is, I can't kind of get my hand around it. Like you seem real calm and things like that, but you've been here tonight kind of messing up my interview and everything. You kind of answer late. You and Rich kind of have this everyman style as well. Where you're from Pittsburgh, right? I mean,
yeah, I was born in Pittsburgh. I lived in a little town called Brookline until I was like 10, 11. I moved the day after the Penguins won their first Stanley Cup. We moved out to Oakdale, which is where I went from there till like 2007, 8. And then I moved out on my own for a little bit, and so I grew up in Pittsburgh for sure. I was a season ticket holder back in 2004. Or no, 2004, 2005 when they won the Super Bowl. I didn't get to go to any of the fun games because they was all on the road. But yeah, it was funny. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you had season tickets?" I go, "Yeah, they were $500 for the whole year." Now some games are $500 or more, But yeah, so I definitely grew up in Pittsburgh. Big Pittsburgh fan. Obviously, Dan Marino is my favorite quarterback. And then when he went
played
to
at the University of Pittsburgh, for y'all that don't know, you keep repeating, but like I don't think everybody knows he played at
right.
At
And
Pitt.
he went to Central Catholic too. He went high school in Pittsburgh. He grew up in Pittsburgh. But then he went to Miami, and I kind of became a University of Miami fan too as well. So I grew up like I was a young kid, I didn't know the difference, but I was like, I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan. And at some point in my life, I wanted to go to Miami. I wanted to go be a Hurricane.
We're the same age pretty much. So yeah, Miami for several reasons was a good choice. Football being one of them because of the Hurricane. They were really dominant back then, man. Really.
Right, and I still hate Florida State. I'm still not a big Florida State fan to this day. Maybe that's why I'm not a Deion fan.
I certainly think that's if you didn't like Florida State, because that was the picture of Florida State, Deion Sanders, and of that.
So Rab, I have a quick question for you.
No kidding.
Who was the better?
You're trying to change it around.
I'm not.
I'm shocked.
I'm not. I saw this today and it was on my mind. Who was the better running back, Bo Jackson or Barry Sanders?
Pause. The quote Dame Dash. Barry Sanders was the greatest running back of all time, I think, of anybody. So I don't think it was ever better than Barry Sanders. Bo would have been had he played more, though. I think Bo as an athlete, as a football and a baseball player, I think he might have been the greatest athlete I've seen in my entire lifetime. The only better athlete I ever saw was Michael Jordan than Bo Jackson. That's how much I think Bo Jackson.
I only asked that because I saw like both their highlights today on Twitter, and so I was waiting to know if we were doing this today or not. And I was like, I'm gonna ask. Do you find that challenging? That oh my gosh, Adam, don't do it.
No, go ahead. You had another question. I'm hip to you now, brother. This is, I can say, your style is kind of just what comes to your head. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you find it challenging to interview other podcaster hosts because they want to ask questions too?
Do I find it challenging to interview other podcast hosts?
Yeah, because
they all kind of everybody makes that joke. Oh man, I'm gonna flip it around on you. They all kind of do that. It's in our nature to be the one asking the questions and setting the show and doing the tone and everything like that. So it is, it's kind of out of your nature to be the one being interviewed to do that. That's why I kind of like the open mic so much, right? I just kind of I don't have to do a whole lot there. I'm kind of in the same spot.
These division things are challenging.
I think the whole thing is challenging. I'm so glad I'm not in charge of it. Rich is kind of like your lieutenant there, and like you guys, Dylan just tries to mess it up every week. Doesn't he? He wants to just change the topic, and Ken the Bear fan, like he just changed. That's the whole point, I guess. But like they just go off. And just,
I kind of like sticking. I kind of like these quick topics because they're going to be over in like a couple of weeks. But we're all going to have our own different and personal opinions on it, on how we feel the teams are going to play out. And I kind of like it whenever we have like this kind of talk about it. But then we'll get back into like open sports mic where it's just going to be straight football talk.
Dylan always kind of rage baits Jamie. Yeah, Dylan, that's what he does. Let's ask about Josh real quick. I'm going to ask you. We talked about this. I think your son is involved in this. How does that make you feel? That Josh is so.
Good.
involved and so interested, and he's there with his friend. And like I told you, I have girls that have no interest in sports, and then you have a son here. It's one thing I'm never going to get to do is not pass maybe the whole network on to Josh.
You never know. One of your girls one day might be like, you never know, Rav. One of your girls one day might be like, hey, Dad, what's this sport thing here? You never know. You never know.
They've shown some interest in the Jersey side of it, in that part of it, and some of my other businesses, like in those things, but not in the podcasting of sports. They have no interest in
that. But so whenever I first downloaded StreamYard, and I would go over to my mom's, me and Josh, and sometimes my sister would jump on, and we would just talk about like games or sporting things, just to go on there and laugh and have a good time. And then Josh kind of started watching more, and then all of a sudden he started paying attention more because he was listening. So it got him more into sports. Obviously, he was in the racing to begin with. F1 was something he was really into. I had to learn the hard way because I didn't know what sports he was into. I mean, Josh's first stadium he went to was Miami. We went to the Marlins versus the Pirates game when we were in Miami. So that was cool. But that was his first stadium. But so I naturally, I'd like him to catch up to me so we can go complete the whole route. But
it's funny.
Really, go ahead.
No, go. You were talking on it. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking my dad was the reason that I liked sports so much. He was the guy. But it's funny. Your son likes the same team. I like the opposite teams of my dad. And my dad was diehard Boston Celtics. So I rooted for the Lakers, right? And so like, and so I would always kind of like with my dad, but my dad was the reason why. My dad, and he's been passed away a long time, like 25 years.
So your dad would be really excited right now watching Larry Bird's grandson hoop it up. Did you see his highlights?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, he looks like a junior Bird, baby.
Larry Bird and Bill Russell were his favorite players. Loved Larry Bird as a player. Maybe Hondo, John Havlicek was about, but he loved the Boston Celtics, man. And
George,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you were talking. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rob. No, I interrupted.
No, I was just gonna say, like his. I always think like when I'm doing this, like I'm my dad is kind of watching in that sense, especially if I'm talking basketball or whatever. He was always just like with my dad there.
Yeah, Josh sometimes jumps on with Rich and does the 2-tire change on Mondays. 7 o'clock our time, I believe. I always get these confused what time, because he always tells me Central Time, and I'm like, that's an hour behind me. So I always get confused. So if it's 6-7 or 7-8 Central, I always get them confused. But yeah, Josh jumps on there with Rich. I feel Rich is a good mentor for him on the air. I feel Rich is a good mentor for Josh to learn a lot more on the air. Obviously, I've never done on the air stuff before, so I kind of learned on the fly. And I also learned that writing stuff down on pencil and pen in a notebook helps you memorize the stats better, the lines better, what you're going to say better. I never studied that much in school, and looking back on it, like this is all I had to do trying to remember stuff was write it down.
It's funny, my mom always said that to me. She always said that to me. Like this, what you just said is fascinating. Yeah, go ahead.
And I feel like when I don't write stuff down, it shows, because you lose train of thought. You don't have anything to glance down at. I know a lot of people do notes on their phones or their notebooks, but I like to write stuff down. Sometimes I can't read my handwriting though, and it sucks, but that's beside the fact. But I learned how to write cursive, and it's not the prettiest stuff in the world. Sometimes I feel like I don't leave enough room to leave notes, but that's those are just little things you learn and you pick up on. Do you write stuff down before you do a show, or how do you do it?
Yeah, all of our processes are a little different. What I used to do in the beginning is I used to do a whole practice hour. So I would do a show that I wouldn't upload. I would just do the whole thing over and over. I would just do the whole thing. Sometimes I would do it twice.
Well, I just want everyone to know. I know everyone on your channel knows this, but Rav usually goes by himself on his show, so this is why he does this. And that is that why?
Yeah. I used to do it. And the other reason is the real honest answer is nobody was watching anyway, right? So
right.
So I had to, maybe I had 3 people or 2 people, if I was lucky, I had six views. So like I just had to fill time, I had to go pull stats, get graphs, whatever, to last hour. Like you mentioned with the comments, like that nobody was watching it anyway. So like there was nobody there anyway. So I had to start doing that as well. Now it's piece of cake. I don't really have to. I pretty much now I get off from work at. Some nights I get home as late as 7:15. I can be on at 8, no problem. Most of the work is done over the weekend, the stats and everything like that. So I could just go ahead and go on. And I'm just basically refreshing what happened that day, so I don't miss anything. What happened, like trade deadline, especially, was kind of like a day like that. Who got traded, or something like that.
Yeah, we all prepare for shows differently, and I feel that whenever I'm underprepared, it shows a lot. But on days when I'm fully prepared, I feel those shows are the way better shows. And I keep telling Josh that, the more you're prepared, the more you jot stuff down, the more you write stuff down. Like we're doing all these previews of teams from the divisions, and I go, Josh, you have to write all this down. You have to. Or else you're going to say a lot of ums and who's, and people always see, even he admits it right on the screen as we're talking about it. But I keep telling him, the more he writes it down, the more he's gonna be involved, because you'll have stuff to talk about because you read it, you wrote it down, and it's just a better way to understand it for me. Now some people might be able to read anyway. We used to do Pizza Hut 5 stars, and I could read the back of the book and make up a bunch of shit about the book and get a Pizza Hut star.
Josh, the only thing I see with him is he's got to stand on business more, stand your ground with the open mind. I know sometimes it's tougher because he's the younger one, but just stand your business more. You know your point, just stand on it. Especially when you believe in something. I saw him the other night. Eli Manning. Better than Lawrence. Stand on that. He wouldn't be right, but stand on it if that's what you think.
Eli Manning is way better than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Without
I will stand on that all day.
Yeah. Eli Manning is going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Well, Josh, that's why you read, and that's why we're telling you right now. Like, you read and prepare, and do some deep dive and research, buddy. You'll eventually become like, oh, okay, I got knowledge now.
Yeah. And where do you think Driving to the Top? Where do you want to take this? Without revealing anything of the secrets of the Batcave? What do you think is next for you? I know how much you like working with Rich. You guys are a great tandem. Like, you guys just are the white barbershop I go to now.
White barbershop.
I never went to one. No, I'm serious. Until recently, I never did.
I haven't been to a barber in years.
I never went to one. So you guys, what you guys sound like.
I don't think Rav, come to think of it, I don't think I've gone to a barber. Oh my God, it's like high school. Like, I've always just shaved it.
You've had a bald head for 30 years.
Yeah, dude. Like, I never. I don't know. I never. I just never went to a barber. My sister cut hair, so I would say, "Hey, cut my hair," or whatever. But I never went. Like, I can't recall going to sit in a barber shop and have that, that barber conversation with everyone in the room.
Well, you are having it. That's what you guys sound like. That's what, and what I mean is simple. You know, it's not you guys supposed to be talking football or basketball, but no, we're talking about other things. Like it's kind of like Nightcap in a way. If you've ever seen like Shannon and Ocho, it's kind of like a different version of that. When I see you guys, like you're starting in one place, but you're just going to,
We never know where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like Wednesday show. We talked about everything Pittsburgh, but everything rotated back to Pittsburgh. You know, like we were on the Brewers for a little bit, and it rotated back to the Brewers beating our asses. and I don't know what we did against the Cubs today because I was working. We had a day game.
Do you have the same type of attitude for the channel? Because I know you work very hard at it. Do you want to have more open mics or whatever? Is there anything like you have a vision for that going forward?
I was thinking the other day I wanted to get back to like a little circling back around and doing more shows like with other people that I used to do shows with. I enjoy that. Like Paul Hope over there across the pond. We are just having trouble with time zones because obviously he's 5 hours away from me. So like, we do our show at 9:00, but over there it's 2 a.m. If I know the Niners are playing though, I will text him because I know he's up watching it. So like when the Niners play on a Sunday night game, he's like, man, it's already 1:00 here. So this game's not going to be over till 4. Go ahead, Councilman. You know what I mean? I do have a Jets guy in the UK that I try to talk to. I haven't talked to him in a while though. I'd like to go back to talking to some of my former people that came on, find some new people to come on. I like rounding people and talking to people. So I've been thinking about getting back into that, but we'll wait and see what happens. Right now we're just, Marcus is going live seems like every day now, every other day it seems like, and that's good. You have your pre-recorded.
Marcus has a wide knowledge. I mean, man, college football, pro football, soccer, wrestling, Saints, 2 different teams. Marcus,
that's why he's on the go.
Marcus is real. Yeah, man. Marcus is really, really, really doing some cool stuff, man.
Yeah, he was with the network before, and then he came back. He been asking me for a while. I had some conversations with people, and they said yes, bring him back. And I was gonna bring him back anyway. I just wanted to, clear things up, and now he's back and he's rocking, and I'm really glad he's back actually because Marcus really knows a lot of stuff. He knows the in and outs. He knows all of his teams, and it's great. It blows me away sometimes, like how knowledgeable he is. And then he's like, "Hey, let's talk wrestling," and I'm like, "Where do you find time to watch all this?"
I get that a lot too, but he's doing more than me. Like that's why I didn't join you guys like for UFL because like I feel like I understand though why there are YouTubers and content creators only cover one thing, doing what I'm doing, covering all 4 things. Had it been anything else, almost because I've been watching Terps and Ravens anyway all my life. Same with the Orioles, whatever. So it's not as much of a stretch, but to cover it on an everyday basis, 4 different things. So that's why I'm amazed you do so much. He's doing like 5 different college football teams, 5 different college baseball. So yeah, that's a lot for one guy. He doesn't have a staff either. It's just him, right?
He reminds me of me, like all over the place, and he gets it and he understands it. So are you on Instagram?
Yeah, I don't go live on Instagram, but I have shorts on Instagram.
Do you follow Bree, the Chicago Cubs fan?
I don't know.
Well, look her up. And she just talks Cubs. And she has 137,000 followers. I just saw this today because I was like, I was just curious. I never really looked into her profile. I just knew she always talked about Cubs and how bad they're doing, how good they're doing. And I was like, today I just wanted to see what she had following. It was at 137,000 people just by talking Cubs on her Instagram.
Right. I will definitely do that for sure. I do get it. A lot of people doing it. So one last thing here. We talked a little football. We talked a little that driving to the top. Um, what do you want to? You're home more now, right? Am I getting it? I won't have to go into what, but you're home more. So, what's the one thing that you're looking forward to doing now here with us and coming up soon here? Besides talking to people, what's the one thing that you're looking to do?
Whew. Yeah. Everyone knows I started a new job. The hours still vary. I got home late today, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I hope I don't miss the show." I got home a little later today. Sometimes work doesn't always go as planned. Obviously, everyone knows that. But yeah, so like, what are my goals now, or
what are your goals? Not just the channel, but I'm talking about you in particular. Like we're gonna talk about you, like here for a second. Like not just life. You don't have to reveal like any personal life things. Like if I'm talking about business wise, like what are you looking to accomplish?
well, now that I'm like home more, I'm able to like pay attention more. Hopefully, I can set up more shows. Maybe even like throw a cornhole out in the side yard because it's still daylight outside when I get home now. I'm learning how to recook again there, Rav. So when you work in the food business for the last whatever years, you're just used to throwing stuff on the grill and real quick and in the oven and boom, it's done. Like now all of a sudden I got to relearn how to cook. I got to relearn how to make mac and cheese again. And, but yeah, so, and I got to, spoil Phoenix, got to feed her well. So I got to make 2 meals instead of 1. But yeah, like relearning how to cook that's, and I like cooking. Apparently I like cooking on the side when I'm not at work every day cooking, but, I've been cooking some mean steaks lately. I'm not going to lie. They were in my freezer and I never had time to eat them. Are you a steak guy? Are you a steak guy, Rap?
I love steak. I had steak every year. Every year on my birthday, I asked my mom for a steak. So I call
Do you
that
do
the
ribeye or do you do just Angus or what's your go-to?
a T-bone steak, big old T-bone steak. Yeah, so that's the man's meal. I asked for that. You see that a lot in Baltimore, like Ruth's Chris and all that other fun stuff.
I got hooked on ribeye. It might be only like $5-6 more, but you know what? It's worth it.
Tell the people where we can find you, brother.
You can get me at Sports Talking It on Twitter, guys. Obviously, you can get me at Driving to the Top on Twitter as well, even though I'm more proactive on the Sports Talking It on Twitter. You can get me over there on the YouTube channel. Obviously, Rab, you made a new emblem, and I kind of like it. I don't know who made it, but I like it.
No, I this is what it's going to look like on every podcast here when I do my new rollout here with the new intro and all that here in the football season starts. That's what it's going to.
Did you make it?
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. We should get one for every. We should get one for every show. That way they can run both up in the corner.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing more promotion also of the driving to the top here in general as well. So we're gonna have more live. Funny you say that. The instant reactions are going to be live simultaneously this year. I'm looking on both channels. So we're going to do some college football and we're going to do after Ravens games live on both channels simultaneously. It's like that. The regular podcast is going to stay the same, but the instant reaction after the football games is going to be live on both channels simultaneously that they have. And I'm thinking about bringing Dylan or somebody in so we can do a little bit longer form. It's not necessarily every.
Don't forget to ask Ken too, because Ken has a show every Sunday at 11 o'clock, I believe, our time.
Yeah,
he does like an open preview day before the game.
I haven't
talked that over there on the huddle.
Yeah, I should talk to Ken. But yeah, you might see Ken and some of those guys and Jeremy and those guys as well. So I'm changing.
I like our connection with those guys. I really do. Not to interrupt you.
I think they're fantastic. I think they really work hard at what they do. Ken is like he goes lawn every day. So
I like Ken a lot. I like Jeremy a lot. Obviously, that all started because of how I run. I started doing the Lions and I ran into Jeremy. I run the Lions. We had everyone on.
All right, and so thank you guys, and thank our fearless leader here for joining. He went live. He needed demand, but making it feel
live,
he likes live. So we're done here. Thank you, all of you, for watching. Definitely check us out here as we go. One of our last of our interview series tomorrow night. Josh Kirby is going to be the voice of the Valley on there. He is going to check it out as well with our interview series. And thank Adam for joining us here for pretty much almost the end here of our interview series before we get into football season and all those things I talked about, instant reaction and all that going forward. Thank you for joining us here on the Ravery Sports Podcast interviews series. You have a great rest of your day.
I'll see you Tuesday, Rav.
Yeah.